You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Inspiring Leaders. I'm Donna Chandler Newman, your host for our show, and thank you for watching our program. Through this show, we meet community leaders and we examine how they're using their unique talents and skill sets to make a difference. And through our discussions, we hope to inspire others to discover and to share their own leadership abilities for the overall betterment of our community. Now, have you noticed lately that in our world, people seem to be living longer? In fact, Harvard Health published a study that showed average life expectancy in 1900 was 47 years, while in 1950 it had risen to 68 years. And then in 2019, it had increased to nearly 79 years. So thankfully, we're living longer. But are we living better? Quality of life becomes the question. And enter Creative Aging, the nonprofit organization that works to enrich the lives of seniors in the Mid-South through music and arts experiences that engage, educate, and entertain. Now the result, our growing group of seniors leading healthier, more vital lives filled with joy and connection. Today we welcome Creative Aging to our show, and in our first segment, we'll meet Mia Henley, Executive Director of Creative Aging, along with an active program participant, Gail Nelson. And in our second segment, Mia and I will be joined by Rachel Cheek, the incoming president of Creative Aging's Board of Directors. Joining us now are Mia Henley, Executive Director, and Gail Nelson, active program participant of Creative Aging. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're with us today. Mia, let's start with you. Mia, you have quite an extensive background. Tell us briefly about your background and how you got involved with Creative Aging.
Well, my first career was in law. I had a litigation practice in Memphis, and I enjoyed that. Then I took a little time to be at home with young children. When I came back to work, I did a lot of consulting with a boutique firm that specialized in doing strategic planning and organizational development work for nonprofit organizations. And I was exposed to many, many types and sizes of nonprofits. And while I loved the consulting work, I decided ultimately that I didn't want to plan and leave. I wanted to plan the work and do the work. And the opportunity to work with Creative Aging came up. It was somewhat serendipitous, and I've been here for 7 years.
And you've enjoyed every moment of it, haven't you?
Absolutely, yes.
And Gail, I'm glad you're here as well.
Thank you.
You have a very different background from Mia's. Tell us about your background and how you came to know Creative Aging and get involved with them.
Well, I'm a retired law enforcement officer with the federal government. I returned to Memphis in 1996 and retired in 2007, and then went to work for Shelby County Schools for 6 years and retired from there in 2016. And I was looking for something to do to keep me active because I still felt very young. And I went to a Theater Memphis performance in the daytime, and I believe that's when I first heard about Creative Aging. And I said, why not?
You know, one of the things you just said is pretty fascinating and I think pretty normal for many adults and many seniors is you said the word retirement several times. So retirement doesn't necessarily stick.
Right.
You have many retirements, correct?
I have at least 2, and I technically still work because I'm a substitute teacher with Memphis City School, and I'm a volunteer with Arise to Read.
Okay, good. Well, and that's pretty true nowadays, isn't it, Mia? And enter Creative Aging. Tell me a little about the history of this organization and its mission.
Creative Aging was founded in 2003 with a dream of bringing music and art to places seniors live and gather. And that's really what we did. Our focus was from 2003 to 2015, working with musicians and artists from all over the city to engage seniors in retirement communities, perhaps at senior centers and similar locations. we knew there were lots of people out there like Gail who were not ready to live in a retirement community, but had stopped working full time. And so in 2016, we started the program that Gail referred to, our concert series program, which is held at Theater Memphis. And so we wanted a way for older adults to come together in a barrier-free environment. So the tickets are $5, the events during the day, so no one has to worry about driving at night or perhaps being a little bit uncomfortable with trying to park in a parking garage downtown and things like that. So we have this completely accessible theater right in the middle of the city, free parking, all of these wonderful things. So we started that program, and people like Gail sure did come. And those events happen about 12 times a year now, and they sell out. They're great. So
Every time, huh?
Every time,
Every
pretty much
time.
every time. 400 seats. Sometimes we have a second show because so many people want to go. And then we ultimately started a third program in 2019, which we call our studio courses. And these are lifelong learning classes for older adults. They generally meet for 90 minutes a week for about 6 weeks. And we have about 40 different topics, all arts-based learning topics. And I know Gail has taken some of those too.
So your objective, your mission, if you will, is to enrich the lives of seniors, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Through the arts, and certainly there are many ways a person's life can be enriched, and the arts are not the only way, but they're a really good way, and they're a wonderful bridge to community, to connection, and to creativity. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I know when we first began talking about it, creative aging is really an apt name, isn't it? Because of the creative part of it.
Right.
But for me, when I first heard it, it begged the question, why aren't we all going to a Grizzly game or whatever, which I guess isn't a bad idea.
No, do that too. Do that too.
But you need to focus your mission in order to accomplish it.
That's right. There are
true.
lots of folks doing sports-related, exercise-related activities for older adults, and we would never discourage people from participating in those things. The arts are just another opportunity to find community and to keep learning, to keep growing. You know, when you retire, when a person retires, often the structures that really build us up, you know, the work environment and the thinking and learning that happens in a work environment, the peers and the camaraderie that a person has can kind of slip away. And at the same time, as we age, perhaps a person has lost a spouse, the children are no longer living at home, et cetera. So it's really a time when community can kind of slip away. And so what we want to do is encourage people to stay in community, and arts events are a great way to do that.
And we know that retirements don't always stick, and so it's
That's
a good
right.
idea, right? A very good idea. Gail, tell us about your experience. What all have you done with creative aging, and what kind of impact has it made on your life?
Well, I never thought of myself as a creative person. And my first class was watercolor.
Oh, really?
And, yeah. And I never painted anything or held a paintbrush. And I went and I felt inspired, and I created something that even now my sons say, well, I want to make sure I get this. No, don't give it away to anyone else. Because it was a picture of me and a young boy walking down a path. And it's still near and dear to my heart. And I never thought I could do that. Something that created a memory, and hopefully something that my grandchildren one day would say, Grandma did that.
And they will treasure,
Yeah,
right?
and they would treasure.
Were you surprised at yourself for this painting? Because, I mean, I would think that a person is certainly harder to do than a watercolor with flowers, right?
I was shocked. But I had an excellent teacher.
Yes.
I had an excellent teacher in Sarah. And she guided me, and she's the one that pulled that out of me, what I could put on paper. Because she said, paint something that you love. And that's what came out of it.
And that's one of the interesting things, too, about this organization. One of the impacts you have on the community is you're not pulling me to teach watercolor. You're pulling real live artists, correct?
We only work with professional artists, and they are all paid, and they should be. But we really insist that everything that we do be the highest artistic quality or instruction that is available. So people, participants like Gail, have a chance to learn under the best, you know, and she's talking about Sarah Allen, one of our really accomplished artists, but I get to hear the feedback from participants on a regular basis. They submit evaluations following events, and it is really consistent that people, I mean, they get a chance to rate the class and the teacher, and it's almost always a 10 out of 10, with 10 being the best. I mean, people love our instructors because they are, they're dedicated and they enjoy it. I think what they say is, you know, it's so different from teaching younger people, because no one is in an art class with us because their mother sent them and made them go, right? They're there because they want to do it, and they are really curious about life and exploring and opening up a new door.
And so this has made a huge impact on your life, right?
Right. Now, every time I'm able to take a creative aging class, I sign up. I've done ballet, I've done tap, I've done piano, I've done Shakespeare, and it was wonderful. Everything has been wonderful, and I feel like it has enlarged my circle.
So it has enriched you because you've learned new things and met new people?
Exactly. And I've done things I never thought I could do.
Oh, that's amazing. It really is.
Right. And now I know I can do even more.
That's amazing. Well, you know, a minute ago you said you pay your artists. That's an impact to the community as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So basically you're helping the community through helping artists who are looking for work as well, or even if they're not looking for work, they're able to give back their talent to the community, and people like you get even brighter and more viable and than ever before. So that's enriching too. So great work that you do. So thank you, and I'm really happy for the opportunity for creative aging. I know you are too, Gail.
I appreciate it, Maya.
Yeah. I know you do. I know you do. We appreciate you. Keep on participating.
Thank you.
That's why we do it.
Maybe we'll tap dance together soon.
There you go.
Will you stay with us a few minutes, Mia, for your president to join us?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Gail, for being with us today.
Thank you.
We're going to pause now for a short break, and when we return, Mia and I will be joined by Rachel Cheek, incoming president of the Board of Directors for Creative Aging.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
I'm your moderator, Brandon Sewell, coming to you live from the campus of Germantown High School.
So GHS-TV tries to model a real working station.
I really thought it was cool when I first started studio and all the opportunities that it was able to provide for me.
That would be 36 out of 36.
It's a rigorous class that demands a lot from students.
At times you are going to be thrown into the fire to where you're just going to have to figure it out yourself.
Which is really great because then we gain more knowledge. Our teachers will give us how to start, but then we're left to make up the whole entire process.
It just seems to me it's not enough space in the beginning. If it's not, let's figure out what we can do.
They can be a producer, they can be a director, they can work graphics and learn audio, they can go out and shoot field reports.
Akila, back to you.
And it's a challenge to throw them into the environment and say, here's a camera, go out and record this interview and some B-roll. But those are the challenges that grow students to do bigger projects.
Welcome to Red Devil Newsbeat.
In GHS-TV, we have a variety of shows. We have Crosstalk.
Hello and welcome to a new season of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk.
We have Insider, which is all about Germantown.
Welcome to GHS Insider, the show that's all about the G.
Cut to One and Q Talent.
Wake up, Germantown. It's Wednesday, April 5th. I'm calling you in.
Some things that I've learned from this class is that how to work as a team.
We learn how to communicate better with people.
Something I'll take with me from in the future is their slogan, check, double check, and check again.
There's so many different things you can do here. I would say take risks. Push yourself further than you think you can go, and we will help guide you there.
Go Red Devils!
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back. I'm Donna Chandler Newman, and you're watching Inspiring Leaders. Today, we're talking about creative aging in the Mid-South. We're so pleased that Mia Henley, Creative Aging's Executive Director, continues her discussion with us, and we're delighted to be joined now by Rachel Cheek, incoming President of the Board of Directors for Creative Aging. Ladies, thank you for staying, Mia, and welcome, Rachel.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad that you're here today. This is such an interesting and vital organization for our area. Rachel, you were very much a surprise to me when I met you and even heard. You are absolutely nowhere near their target demographic for aging people. So tell me how you got in, a little bit about your background first, and how you got involved with creative aging.
Sure. Well, I hope that everybody of any age can appreciate that a community is only as strong as all of its members. I was fortunate enough to learn about creative aging when I worked for an organization called the Community Foundation of Greater Memphis. And in my role there, I learned about all of the folks in town in our community that were doing great philanthropic work, and then all of the groups and organizations that were working to fulfill those needs. And creative aging was so interesting to me because it was serving in this niche area that really wasn't being served otherwise. And it was just the right size that I felt like my support could truly make a difference. And I was really interested to see how it would grow. And then I was really fortunate that when Mia came on as the executive director, she approached me about joining the board, and I absolutely jumped at the opportunity.
I bet you did. It is a very interesting board, I'm sure. Tell me a little bit about your board. How many members do you have, and what do they contribute to the organization?
Sure. We have 13 board members, and we try to tap into artists and business and community leaders. We have all ages on our board. We have folks that look like everyone from our community. And really anyone that has a heart and a passion for the work that we do is welcome on the board.
Ah, that's good to know. You are also in charge of raising money, correct?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about, with all the classes and everything you were talking about a minute ago, it is true that you don't have a physical building, which keeps you more nimble, if you will.
Yes.
But it still takes a great deal of money to pay artists and to coordinate and have such a program as you're running. I know you have a lean and mean staff, but it still takes money. So tell me, how do you raise your money?
Well, we raise our money in lots of different ways. We had about 1,700 events last year.
Wow.
So that's a lot,
Say
right?
that again,
1,700.
Wow.
Yes, that's right. We paid artists about $346,000. So, and then there are expenses to running an organization beyond, obviously paying the artist fees. We have lots of community partners that make our work possible, who are funders and who are also artists and arts organizations. So in terms of where our funding comes from, like many nonprofit organizations, we are funded some by government. I love to say that our funding pot is very, very diverse, and it is diverse among the government funders as well. So the Tennessee Arts Commission is a major funder. We are also are the beneficiary of National Endowment for the Arts grants, and grants from the City of Memphis and from Shelby County government. Those are
Arts Memphis.
Arts Memphis, absolutely. Arts Memphis is really not a government agency, so
No.
they're a little bit different, but we have Arts Memphis and a number of other funders, the Durham Foundation, the Thomas Briggs Foundation, the Community Foundation of Greater Memphis are all supporters. And then there are the wonderful people who support us at our annual fundraiser. Those are business organizations. Our sponsor, our main sponsor this year is FedEx. So thank you, FedEx, for what you do for creative aging and so many other people in the Memphis community, Greater Memphis community. So really, though, the donations that we get go from $5 to $15,000 at our annual fundraiser, which is online. We love that. But anyway, any support is appreciated and well used. So as you say, being nimble, not having a building, we really do try to be as efficient as possible. But our goal is not to have people come to us. Our goal is to go to where older adults live or gather. Right now we're in 92 locations all over the city, including all the, there are 18 branches of Memphis Public Libraries, and all of the senior centers in Shelby County and in the city of Memphis, and then a number of residential and day use communities.
And I know that, I mean, where am I going to tap dance, for instance?
Well, tap dancing, there's two ways. We have a wonderful partner called Collage Dance Collective. They are primarily a ballet organization for youth, but they also have a professional company. They have a gorgeous building that is near Broad Avenue in Memphis, at Broad and Tillman. They use the studio primarily for kids after 3 o'clock, right? So we approached them and said, well, what are you doing with that beautiful space from 10 to 3? And they said, wow, this is a great opportunity. And so they joined us in making their studio available and their teachers available to teach seniors at that location. But they also come out to this area, and they have taught at Arlington and at Collierville Senior Centers. So the ballerinas will go on the road, or the tap dancing instructor will go on the road, so that seniors don't have to travel all the way into the core of the city.
That is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. People love it.
And it makes it very convenient for a start. I know that you come to Germantown Community Theater for a number of
That's correct. We do.
Performances of what?
Well, we've held events there that are in partnership with the Pickering Center, which is Germantown's senior program. And we've also had people from Germantown Community Theater come to the Theater Memphis stage as part of our concert series. And, you know, the Tennessee Shakespeare also does that. Playhouse on the Square does that, Opera Memphis. So there are so many wonderful arts groups like Germantown Community Theater that are willing to make their shows and their events available to seniors during the day for that $5 ticket price. And that is the only thing we charge seniors for. But people like to, you know, that's part of being an independent person too, being able to pay.
You know, that's absolutely correct, isn't it? You were mentioning a minute ago about the, Gail was telling us actually about the confidence that you gain from doing these sorts of activities that are really out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
So paying is a piece of it as well, though. If you were given everything, that's not the same, is it?
Well, it's not the same, and I think people feel more connected to things, that they've got some skin in the game, as people say.
Yeah.
But listen, if people couldn't pay, if there was a group that couldn't pay, you know, we do have grant funding that can help us. Let's just make sure people get there. We want to make sure people get there and they get a chance to participate. And we have really never had anyone who came to one of our events or one of our classes and said, this is a bad idea. It's the opposite. People always enjoy it and they always want more. In fact, our biggest problem, right, Rachel, is that we can't fill the need that is there. There are 138,372 people over 65 in Shelby County alone. So all of those folks that are interested don't have a spot yet. So we're trying to keep growing the program.
And so how many of those 138,792, is that what you said? How many of those are you touching, you think? Or how many touches do you make?
Well, our touches are over 35,000 a year. It's substantial. But that's not 35,000 unique individuals. We estimate it's about 7,000 unique individuals that are involved in some way during the year. But you know, the waiting list for classes is just crazy. I mean, like, we had a pottery class at the Dixon recently, and there were 82 people on the waiting list.
So, if that's so, what can we do? Because I can tell that there's so much demand and not enough that you can supply. What can we do as a community to help you?
Well, I think it starts with more people knowing about us. Thank you again for having us, because this is a wonderful opportunity to maybe reach a different audience. and then really helping us build and strengthen our capacity to be able to host more of these studio courses and concert series and performances we do, because the more partners we have and the more that funders see the good work that we're doing, that just helps us really grow.
So that's wonderful. I mean, I'm happy to do this, and to tell you the truth, so if each one tells one, is that a good thing too?
Absolutely. I mean, people who are listening, they may be potential participants themselves. They may have a mother or a grandmother or aunt or a friend down the street, a neighbor. You know, just keep it in mind, because, and too, there may be listeners who are potential partners that would say, you could host a class at our location, you could host a class, or we'd like to partner with you to help present. So.
As our senior community continues to grow, and it's going to be 190,000 in 2030, is that right?
That's what we're told.
Well, if that's so, how are you going to measure success?
You know, every time I see the light come on in a person's eyes when music plays, or when a person attends a concert or a class, I feel like we've been successful. And you know, the inability to do something at 100%, I mean, I don't know that we'll ever be able to reach everyone, but our vision is that everyone in Shelby County has an opportunity to participate. And so I'll feel like we're really successful when that is realized.
I want you both to know how much I appreciate the great work you do for our community. And at some point very soon, I am over your, or at your target age group, and I am very much looking forward to participating as well.
Wonderful.
We hope that you do.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for the wonderful work you do. I appreciate it, and thank you for being inspiring leaders.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us today for Inspiring Leaders. We appreciate our guests on today's show, Mia Henley, Gail Nelson, and Rachel Cheek, all with Creative Aging. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the difference their organization has made in so many lives, and that you'll consider helping them expand their reach even further into the community. If you've been inspired and you'd like to help touch even more lives, then perhaps you'd like to donate, to volunteer, or just maybe become an active participant yourself, as I will. All this and more information can be found on their website, creativeagingmidsouth.org. Thank you once more for watching our show, and if you're interested in the air dates of Inspiring Leaders or for our station's complete programming guide, you can visit GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can keep up with GHS-TV by visiting our website. We hope you'll like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you for joining us for today's show, and be sure to watch our show, Inspiring Leaders, again next month.